Hi guys and girls, thanks for joining us again today on another His and Hers podcast. And today we're joined by IFBB Pro and multiple business owner Josh Bridgman. Josh, how you doing?
I'm good, mate. Thank you so much for both of you having me on.
My pleasure. Thanks ever so much for coming on board. Obviously out here in Dubai. It's only our second podcast and Josh is our first guest. And I'll be honest, I'm really pleased to have Josh as our first guest because not only do we want to talk about bodybuilding on this podcast, we want to talk about business, we want to talk about life. And Josh, I think you're one of the most experienced people, not only within sort of the bodybuilding and business, but someone who has travelled the world competing, doing what they do, and loving what you do as well. So it's great to have you on board and talk about some of those experiences today.
Thank you. Number one, I hope I live up to the...
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think genuinely you're one of the most recognisable people within the UK bodybuilding scene. I think what you've done for your business is absolutely incredible. I've never had the chance to tell you that. Obviously, I know we've spoken at shows, but whenever we're speaking at shows, there's people competing, and there's people asking me for pictures, and
That ain't happening.
Can't get to you.
But no, like honestly, I think what you've done with the business is incredible. I think you've built a really, really strong brand, super recognisable. And like I said to you the other day, I'm training in Dubai, and all of a sudden there's a 1RM strap there. Intentionally or unintentionally, it doesn't really matter. It's there, it's out in Dubai, and people are then seeing the brand sort of worldwide. So I think it's fantastic what you've done.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, awesome. So tell us a little bit more about Josh. Who is Josh? What got you into bodybuilding? And what took also like that leap of faith to go into the business world as well within bodybuilding?
Where do I start? So I was always big into sport. Played a lot of football when I was young, kind of climbed up those ranks, got sick of it, went to rugby. Went into Gloucester Academy Rugby, actually, and there was the physical aspect of it. They'd put you in strength and conditioning. I actually hated the gym then, by the way. I literally hated it because I just was not as strong as half these people. So I'd get on the bench press, I'd do like 50 kilos, these guys repping out 100. And I just learned to like actually hate it, annoyingly. Maybe that's why I'm here right now. I actually got kicked out of that academy for not progressing physically. I wasn't big enough, I wasn't strong enough. I remember training with these guys, doing tackle practice and just getting crumpled. I just couldn't hold my own. So, I got essentially let go because of that. I don't know whether that lit an immediate fire in me, but I kind of took some aspects of the strength and conditioning and understood that I needed to keep that going if I wanted to make it in rugby. That was like 16, 17. So I kept that side of things going. Probably at that time, a little bit of, I wanted to look a little bit better, probably came into it as well. Me and my friends were a little bit more kind of leaning towards just wanting to look better for ourselves and also to attract a partner at some point. Because I was pretty feeble when I look back. Very, very skinny. I was this height at like 15, so I was real skinny. Kept up with the gym, kept up with rugby, got a little bit bigger, got a little bit stronger. Went to university. I actually picked my university based off sporting, so I went to Loughborough. And literally the month before I went, I snapped my cruciate ligaments, so I just couldn't play rugby when I got there. But I kept up with upper body, I kept up with my push training, back training, whatever it was back then. Kind of carried on, and it took a long time. Like a cruciate was like a year, and by that time, those guys were just even bigger, even better. They got an extra year. Had a year of coaching at one of the best universities in the world for rugby. So they were ahead of me in skill as well, so I really just couldn't catch up that well. And in that year is when I found what I call now the OGs of the fitness industry, the Christian Guzmans, the Matt Oguses, those types of people who were just kind of fitness icons. I fell in love with them and how they looked, how they talked, and their job actually. Like I actually probably leant more in towards like the social media influencer before bodybuilding. So I kind of picked up a little bit of a camera, started just documenting what I'm doing. And then those guys started competing. And I was like, what's that? What's the competing side of things? And I was kind of had in the back of my mind that maybe I could try that one day, but I didn't even know what competing was. I didn't know what UKBFF was or any of those body power when they used to do the competing back then. And I remember walking into the gym one day, and there's this little stool there where they put like leaflets for takeaways and blah, blah, blah. And there was a Mr. University leaflet. And one of my friends picked it up and said, look, there's a Mr. University, you should go do it. And that was it. I was about 5 weeks out. I was like, I'll just try it.
5-week prep.
5-week prep. I mean, back then I was like, yeah, that's plenty of time. Found a diet online. Rob Richards, I don't know if you guys know Rob Richards from back in the day. Found his diet, copied it. Found his peak week, copied it. Didn't work. But I competed, and I think the thing that got me into the competing, I love the competing, I love getting on the stage and presenting and all that kind of thing, but it was actually like meeting people that do the same thing. Because none of my friends were really into it. People who went to the gym were more performance because it was Loughborough. So I met people that were like, I love bodybuilding. This is what I do. And then I kind of blew my mind open to bodybuilding and literally pursued it since then. So that's kind of how I got into it back in the day.
It's interesting to have come from a like team sport background. How did you find, like, did you work well in a team? Because I know like that I was not great as a team player. Like I used to be a bit of a ball hog with like netball and stuff like that, and I preferred the like individual side of it. Obviously we have a team of people who support us as an athlete, but like did you work well in a team as well, like that side of things?
I work well in a team if
the right people.
if there was the right people, or if I was the best in the team. That's kind of how it was, honestly. Like, if I was the standout, I enjoyed that. And actually, when I went to Gloucester, I wasn't the standout anymore, and it was quite hard mentally to deal with people that were just much better than me. But in like club level or anything like that, pretty much, I was generally one of the best. So when I was the one scoring, when I was the ball hog, when I was the one doing it, it was
enjoyable.
Yeah, it was enjoyable, but like, you know, it was a little bit harder. I'm not ashamed to say it was a little bit harder to enjoy the team doing well as me having a good game. If I had a bad game and the team did well, it didn't feel as good. So maybe that's why solo bodybuilding works.
It's funny that you say about your peak. I was only telling Charlotte yesterday that back in the day, like I actually did my first prep from Lane Norton videos.
Lane Norton.
The Lane Norton Peak Week series. I don't know if you've seen that back in the day. Yeah, and honestly, it was just like, it's all, a lot of it all stands true today. Like, you know, don't cut your water out. Like, don't worry about sodium levels, and don't try and manipulate certain things and stuff like that. Like, still, the foundations of that are still like really, really true today. And that's like sort of where I learned everything about bodybuilding in those early years, was through YouTube, through magazines, and through all of that kind of thing. And obviously now it's full spiral. You know, it's completely different now. And it's,
I know.
So that's awesome. And what about the business side of things, Josh? Obviously, firstly, what did you study at university?
I did criminology and social policy.
Oh, sure.
That's cool.
And did you finish?
I finished. I did a master's afterwards.
Awesome.
And did nothing with it. I actually went into university wanting to go into the police. If you went in with a degree, you'd do 12 months on the beat versus 3 years, and you'd be a higher ranking quickly. Yeah, exactly. You'd get there a little bit quicker. And I just got told, police get a great pension, you can retire at 45. I was like, cool.
Sweet.
I'll just do that then. It didn't really pan out that way, you know. I just did illegal things, so I was just like, I don't want to be in the police anymore, right? So I leaned away from it. And then the business side, honestly, didn't come for a little bit until I realized that there was business to be had. So the followers came first, then the followers would start asking. And I thought, well, I could provide what they're asking. That was just the coaching side of things initially. You know, that was literally 10 years ago. So right at the beginning of when online coaching was a thing. So people would ask me, can you do that for me? All right, I'll try it. How much do you want to charge? £50 a month? Sure, I'll do that. And that's kind of how that coaching side began. But also, like I said about those OGs, those inspirations of mine, I'd followed them all the way through this. I still relatively follow a lot of YouTubers now, more so back then. And I just saw that every single one of them had a business. You know, whether it be a coaching business, whether it be a clothing brand, whether it be apparel, whether it be just general merchandise. I realized that they all had something outside of bodybuilding. And fortunately, something clicked that bodybuilding is pretty hard to make a lot of money off if you're not coaching, if you're not building a business. So I knew that I needed to build something that kind of represented me, and then born One Amar. So going from there.
That's really cool. It seems like you've always had that forward-thinking mentality. Obviously, you say that, you know, initially you wanted to go down the road of the police, and you worked out, well, actually, if I did a degree and did it that way, I haven't then got to do the quote-unquote shit work for too long. And, you know, is that something that has always been inside you as a trait, you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think I've always wanted a certain life for myself. Gratefully to my parents who showed me that life was possible. Like, I'm an only child, so when you got a 2-parent household income, like, we could go on holidays a couple times a year. I realized that and we went to great holidays, Thailand, we've been to Dubai before, we've been to the Maldives before. So knowing that life was out there, I didn't really take it for granted, fortunately, back then. I kind of realized that if I want to do this for myself, I've got to try and broaden my horizons, widen my scope, and try and figure out a way to do it with some honor in it as well.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I think that's a great point. Like, you get the opportunities, but it's taking advantage of those opportunities. You can see what you can have in life if you work hard and do well, but as many people succeed as fail, you know, in that they can see what they have, and they almost, like you say, take that for granted, and then all of a sudden I'm 25 years old, I'm not earning a great deal of money, I'm not living the life I want to live, and but you've gone the other way and you've said, okay, well, actually, if I want to do this, I've got to work hard and I've got to achieve what I want to achieve. So that's great. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, thankful for the parents.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. So 1MR, let's talk to us about 1MR. Like,
Yes.
One, how did the name come around? What was the first product? What was the first thing you ever thought of? Like, what is 1MR?
So, you know what? Originally, it was, I used to call my coaching JBF, George Bridgman Fitness, Brigade. And I came up with Brigade because I wanted to have a name that people could relate to. Like, they could be part of something, part of the Brigade. I don't want to be part of George Bridgman Fitness. So I called the Brigade because I kind of knew that they needed to feel like encompassed. So it actually started off as that. And I used to do these Instagram Q&As when I walked, and I used to call it Expenditure Gang. So I used to walk up, all right, guys, Expenditure Gang, get your Q&As in. So I just did some JBF Hood Brigade hoodies with Expenditure Gang on the back. I bought 50 of them. I sold 50 of them. And I was like, all right, cool. People are buying this.
After it,
Bought 100, sold maybe 75, and then like gradually sold the rest of the 25. And that was right at the time when Christian Guzman went from CG Fitness to Alphalete. And because I was obsessed with watching everything he did, and I listened to why he did that, he was like, they don't want to be attached to my name. If they're attached to my name, it's always going to be attached to my name. So if I want to pull back, if I want to stop, if I fall off, if I can't keep up with what I'm doing, it's just like, it's only going to grow as much as I can rather than being something bigger than that. So I was just thinking of something that I could do, and one more rep was, though said everywhere in bodybuilding, we would say, come on, one more rep. It was actually something that me and my friends used to say to each other at university in times that just sucked. Whether it be revision, whether it be, I had quite a lot of anxiety at university, so when I was like suffering, I had one friend who I confided in quite a lot, and he was like, it's just like the gym, mate, come on, one more rep, wake up another day, take what you need to do and do that one more rep. And I kind of realized that it's not just about one more rep in the gym. It's about like taking another step for yourself. And I was like, that's the mantra. That's it. Yeah. That's what 1MR is. So then I switched, I rebranded from JBF to 1MR, and then got a nice little logo done, and still carried on with like the hoodies. And I did some T-shirts, and then I just kind of, I needed something a little bit bigger. Everyone did that. Everyone does that. And my real passion hadn't been found at that point. And I wasn't hugely passionate about clothing, though I think clothing's great so people can represent you. And a good piece of clothing is great, but, you know, I love, like, really good clothing. I love Alphalete, what I'm wearing right now. I love Lululemon, like, and I can't compete with those guys. Nor do I have the passion, nor do I have the knowledge, nor do I have the money to pay someone to do it. So I needed to find kind of the pivot point. And this is where I'll be grateful to the muscle mentors back in the day, and Cal and Luke went on a few of their seminars, and that was like I think that's when Optimal was born, and people using cuffs, reverse bands, and things like that. And when I signed up with Cal, he sent me a big long list of where to get, and it was like, go to this website, this website, this website, this website, buy this, 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 and this. I was like, why has no one just stuck it in all one place and made it look nicer? So we made a cuff initially. In fact, what I did is I bought cuffs. They cut me. They weren't big enough. And I was thinking, how does Cal use these? He's twice the size as me back then. How does he use these? Maybe not now. I don't know. He's probably quite close still, if not a bit wider. And I thought, I'm just going to make some myself. So I kind of found some manufacturers. I was like, can you make these wider? Can you make these longer? Can you make these softer? can you reinforce the D-rings? Because actually I snapped some.
Yeah.
We can do all that. We can double stitch it. I'm like, all right, cool. How much are they? And they're like, this much. I'm like, okay, well, I'll grab some. I'll do it, make them all black, put our nice 1MR logo on it with that orange that pings off that black. People start going, where are those from? I'm like, well, I might be able to get some if you want some. All right, cool. Well, I'll buy 50. Sold 50. And just kind of snowballed like that. So that's our creme de la creme product. That's the one that kind of made us, I would say. To this, like, from selling 50, buying 50 back in the day, like we've sold 20,000 pairs to this day, which is insane.
Yeah.
And once I saw those caught on and I went through my first 1,000, I was like, that's it. That's the thing. It's making those things for bodybuilders, right? So let me get a daisy chain made. Let me get some resistance band made. Let me get some clips made. Let me make them look nicer than just like some rock climbing stuff. Let's put it in a package, What are straps like? Cotton ones, they break. All right, well, let me get some strong leather ones. Let's reinforce the stitching. Let's, make them look real nice. Let's make them accessory to like your outfit. And then we got the leather straps. And we just kind of have snowballed from there.
That's awesome. Sorry, did you have a question?
I was going to say the thin female cuffs.
Yes.
When you were bringing them out, you actually sent some to me to try.
Yeah.
And it's like a totally game changer. But as well, like not even just for like the wrist of a female being smaller, but like for the ankle for like a kickback. And I'd not seen them anywhere before.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys were the first ones to bring that out, but I'd not seen it.
Yeah, that was the issue. Like, that was just from feedback from people. So I'm grateful to people just saying how it is. And I've always tried to keep the company like that. Say how it is if they're shit. Tell me. Make them thinner.
Yeah, it's different because we would if we would train delts together, like obviously they're fine for you, but it would be just like sliding down my arm.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
totally different.
And then we had the opposite problem when people do claviculars.
Yeah.
So we brought out the Titan cuffs, which is just twice as big.
Yeah.
There seems to be like some real business acumen to what you were doing. Sometimes for me in business, I think it's a bit of luck, and I think it's a bit of like common sense, which generally isn't common sense. Did anybody ever teach you anything to do with business? Because it sounds like you are still, like, even in the early days, like, I don't know how to describe it, but thinking in a business sense, but like without actually like being maybe a mentor or anything like that.
I've never been taught anything. I've never taken a business class or a business degree or anything like that. I just think, I mentioned like the anxiety that I had quite a lot at university. It was actually like social anxiety. So I didn't turn up to lectures. I couldn't go to lectures to be in front of people in case they wondered who I was. And it was kind of like a spiral. And the way that I got out of it wasn't from a pep talk from a friend or a therapist or anything like that. It was watching Tony Robbins and Gary Vee. And I just changed my content to that. And you hear enough of get up and do it. You can take control of your life, along with everything else to do, the billion-dollar companies. Like, you get a bit of like sense of kind of what business is a little bit. So it was the combination of the motivational side from them, but it was the motivational was aligned with business. I think I learned a little bit about that, and just a lot of mistakes along the way, and having to adapt and pivot. I mean, I've had one of my for 5 or 6 years, thousands of pounds worth of mistakes, but you've got to learn and kind of move on from them, really. Still a lot to learn as well, so.
Yeah, absolutely. So no one masters business, almost like no one masters bodybuilding.
Yeah, exactly.
There's still that
exactly.
one person who's got one more win or one more Olympia, or even if you do reach the top, then there's going to be somebody coming in 20 years' time who's going to...
Exactly.
Yeah, no. A very similar thing, I used to listen to Andy Frisella, don't know if you know Andy Frisella. Yeah, but he was like the OG, again, with Tony Robbins, with people who was like putting out this like no BS, motivational content that was making you wake up every day, making you think in a business mindset.
Exactly.
Like one more rep, like you say, I listen to one more podcast. Okay, that was quite good. I can implement this, and another podcast. Okay, I can implement this, and I can do this, and without being actually taught, like you do pick up things like, well, rather than me put all my lifetime savings into this, why don't I just buy 50 and still spending a lot of money on that, and then see if I can sell that 50. Let me see if there's a viable business there. Yeah, and that's almost like what you was doing without being taught.
Exactly the same. And the podcast thing was literally it. Listen to this guy, he's a guest on this one, listen to his stuff. Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. And let's talk to you about bodybuilding. Obviously, you're known as like a bodybuilder. Obviously, you competed for a long time with the UKBFF and then competed with Two Bros, turned pro in Portugal.
It was the week after Alicante.
So turned pro in Alicante.
We were at Portugal. We were there.
Yeah, I remember seeing you guys.
Yeah, we were at Portugal, and then you went on.
Yeah.
And then competed several times as a pro. Had a really good pro debut. Second in pro debut.
Yes, second in my pro debut, and then we did Tampa and Texas, which was big shows. I got first call outs in both, so I was over the moon with those as well.
Yeah, and now moving into classics. So take us from the young man who picked up that leaflet, Josh, to you stepping on stage for the first time, to you like chasing your dream and then becoming a pro. Like how did that transition work?
Yeah, so I did that first show. Miss University came second. That left the competitive edge in me. Was like, I need to go back and win that. So I went back and won the fight the next year.
Did you prep for more than 5 weeks?
I did. I did 10 weeks that time. And then a little bit, I had to do 10 weeks. I never got I never really pushed an off season either, so I didn't need to do too much more than 10 weeks at that time. Not that I knew that, but that's what actually happened.
That's what happened.
Yeah. And then I did Fit Factor at Body Power, which is like a fitness modeling competition in a little pair of pants. Little pants.
Did you do one of them?
I did indeed, yeah. No one's seen the pictures of those, but
We'll
there was a time.
Get them out.
There was a
So the
time.
real ones, I tell you.
Yeah.
That was a bit more of a posing routine. So did that. Then, like I said about Rob Richards, I went to one of his competitions, saw that he'd put the shorts on and did men's physique. Yeah, actually, the show that I went to go watch him at was Ryan Terry's first show.
Sure.
So I remember seeing Ryan Terry and being like, wow. Obviously, he had still the beautiful six-pack then. Everyone was drawn to it. He actually won. Actually, Rob won. Ryan came second. And that's where I got onto Ryan. So seeing his journey from the start, which was crazy. Then I thought, let's have a little look. They did juniors. So I did their juniors, which was under 23. At this point, I'm 22. So I was like, cool, I got this year and next year. Came fifth the first year, second the next year. I was like, well, now I'm a man. So then I went into the men's, and I started to think, like, these people look a bit bigger than me, like considerably bigger than me. Like, how are they doing this? And obviously realized that the assisted route was pretty much where everyone was at that point, which I was pretty oblivious to. I was the die-hard natty. I was the I'm going to stay natural forever type of guy. And there's no way he's on. He's just better than me, you know. But then I started to like hear the behind the scenes, and what did you just take? I'm like, what? Take what? What are you talking about? But I still competed naturally for a while. That was 23. I just missed the juniors. I actually came fifth then, which I was pretty happy with. That was I guess that's in my class. I don't know if they did overalls back then. That was against like Romain Lansford back in the day, all those types of people. And then around about that time, UKBFF sort of disbanded, or like the federation changed. And I utilized that time to be like, right, I'm going to take one final really big natural off season. I'm going to take a year out of stage. I'm going to do 2 years off. And I got about 18 months in, and like I'm someone who constantly reevaluates where I'm at. I think I'm pretty realistic with how I look, my level of bodybuilding, and kind of like my potential as well. And I've been beating a lot of guys. I'm like fifth in Britain. It's not too bad when you're natural completely, when other people aren't. So I kind of knew that I had the potential there. But then after that 18 months, I've been putting in, killing myself, training so hard, eating so much food. I'm like, I don't look too different than 18 months ago. And the real conversations about going that assisted route had to take place. I thought, and at this point, I'm nearly 25, thinking, well, the person who I was comparing myself to, Jeremy Buendia, was 26 and had 3 Olympiads already. So my cogs are turning, my logic is kicking in. I'm thinking, I might have to go this route, So.
And at that point, you've been training for like what, nearly 10 years because of the whole sports background.
Exactly.
So it's not like you was just fresh into it.
And that's when all the information about natural bodybuilding came out. So 3DMGA, those guys, Alan Aragon, Eric Helms, Alberto Nunez, they'd started releasing content about what's your realistic muscle gain per year if you're natural. And I was like, well, I'm going to be quite old, if I'm going to get to where I need to go. So, those conversations had to happen with my family and my partner at the time, and who's still my partner now, actually. So I can't believe it's been so long, 6 years ago. And, my family were relatively on. I was sat on holiday with my mum, and she kind of just said, you're gonna regret it if you don't. If it's this thing, if it's the thing inside you, which not many people even get that thing sometimes, I think you're gonna regret it. So maybe she said that in naivety, didn't know what comes with that process at the time. She just saw the physique, didn't know all the other things that come with it. But that was the kind of the moment that I needed. And then I think it's been 5 years to the almost to the day. November it was, so just over 5 years. I was like, right, this is going to be the next step. So I took that assisted route. That was with Cal. Did a little bit of an off season, really low doses, and then tried my first run at a pro card. And I was a little bit naive in that first run, thinking, I'm on steroids now. Like this is going to be easy. I'm going to do it. Yeah, no. It's not a magic pill. It's actually not a magic pill. It doesn't work like that. Yeah, you're going to grow, but it doesn't, because these guys have been doing that magic pill for 5 years.
Got that, 5 years ahead of you on that.
Yeah, there's the issue there.
I think I was at your first show back. It was in Watford.
Yeah, exactly.
You competed against Omar.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, yeah, I did remember that show. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he beat me, and I think by a long way. But the thing that helped me was clearly my shape or condition, because the guys below me were definitely bigger, but I was bigger than them. I was placed higher than them, and I could see the huge difference in physique between me and him. Huge difference. So I kind of got obliterated, and I did then go to Italy afterwards to a pro qualifier, and just got absolutely not. Didn't even, just moved straight to the outside. No one even looked.
Was that your first show internationally?
That was the first international show.
And it's like,
Boy.
And
these Europeans as well.
So Portugal was my first international, and I'd gone from like almost being like the biggest like girl on UK stage, like not the biggest, but like one of them, to then like looking and feeling really small, and I was like, oh, okay, this is different.
Yeah, really open your eyes.
Yeah,
really open my eyes, and just that was pretty hard. It was pretty hard mentally to take such a beating, because I've always been, like I said, like fifth, sixth, second.
Runner,
like I've always been there, and then to just be like moved straight out. I was like, oh God. So I had to go back to the drawing board and really put a solid off season in and work harder again. And then obviously the pro card season, I was much more confident in the level that I was at. And there was a moment when I'd send my pictures off to Cal, and I knew that this was good enough. This was the same shape and size, the same shape and condition that was beating people bigger than me with their size. So I knew that it was going to happen that year. There was no doubt in my mind, and that was like pretty profound for me, knowing that you're that good. Like I've never had like that much confidence going into shows. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. And then did that Portugal show, and I think I should have won that. Still, I'm still going to say that.
Yeah. Well, that's why I thought you'd sound pro there.
Yeah,
obviously it didn't, but that's why I thought.
Yeah, I definitely thought, like, I just knew as soon as I walked out they were going to move me straight to the middle. Won that my class. I could see, he was a big guy, but like I think I had it. But he was Portuguese. I'm not going to say anything about that. And then I knew that this is my run now. Right, this is the run. I'm going to go to Alicante. Then I've got this 2 weeks after. Then I've got this 2 weeks after. I knew that this was it, and it was going to happen. And then it was the Arnold Classic, the amateur. And there's 58 people there. I'm thinking, God, this is intimidating. So that confidence that I had from there was just like straight back down. But obviously I won the overall, which was absolutely crazy. I knew in the overall I was going to win because versus who had been there. But like when you're looking them backstage, you never know what people look like. You never know. Yeah. And that was to this. I said this on another podcast. Like to this day, this the best I've ever felt. Whatever was happening in my brain, dopamine, serotonin was the best feeling. I
remember seeing those pictures, and like I don't know what it is. Like obviously, athletes, like we know what other people are going through. Yeah. I'd never met you. Like obviously, I knew who you were from us being in Portugal, and Rob was like in conversation with you a little bit. Like, but I'd never met you, and like obviously, I was like under the same goal, like wanting to go for it. And I remember seeing those pictures and just being like, yes, for you.
It was the belt, wasn't it?
The belt. Yeah.
You know, when you go through all that, the sacrifice, you really understand it. So I'd have the same feelings when I see people tell me, I'm just like, and it gives you goosebumps sometimes.
Yeah, I'm literally got them now.
I'm like, I need that feeling, you know. And what was really unique about that, well, I say unique, unexpected, was I'd thought about it 1,000 times in 1,000 different scenarios, 1,000 different ways, and it topped them all. It topped them all. It felt way better. It didn't stop for a while. My high didn't really stop for a good while. So I really, that's going to go down as one of those moments for sure. You know, until I get another one.
Yeah.
That's the moment I think about.
It's a weird, unexplainable one, isn't it? Like,
just all that hard work to fruition.
Everything, yeah.
All the self-doubt, all of the issues
All
that
the
come
shit
with
days.
it. Exactly. It all becomes worth it. And then won that pro card. And then realised that there's another level. You know, you're back down the ladder.
Now we're at the bottom.
Climb the ladder, reach the summit. You've got a bigger mountain to climb. And that was a real hard mountain to climb as well. And I think what was really hard was because I came off that back of that pro card moment at this point, 60,000 followers, you know, and you know how followers can get sometimes. They're like, you'll go into the Olympia next year, mate. You're probably going to win it as well. I'm thinking, no, but there's a lot of pressure you put on me.
Yeah.
So when I did all right for a first season and I was content with it, but there was a lot of pressure and then not achieving what I thought I could, what I thought I would, especially coming second in that Vancouver show. I'm thinking, shit, I can do this. And if that guy hadn't turned up who signed up like the week before, I'm going to the Olympia.
Yeah.
So I'm playing this in my head. I'm thinking, shit. You start leaning into listening to the comments a bit more. And then I was still relatively happy with the placings, but not achieving it and having to go away and knowing that you've got another year to wait to try and get that goal again. That was pretty hard to deal with. The pressure was probably the hardest thing from everyone.
As someone like you share everything, like you filming things, you're vlogging things, you're sharing and updating everyone because obviously they want to know. That comes with that pressure, doesn't it? Like I'm a bit of a secret squirrel, as we call it, and like go through a prep on the lowdown. Obviously, people know you're doing it, but they don't know when you're going to do it.
It's very hard.
Yeah,
it's hard to like navigate as well, like to try and be a whether I like or not a role model. I throw my toys at the pram. I remember.
Taking it like gracefully.
It's hard. It's hard. I literally remember coming off at the UK show the following year, which again I didn't qualify for the Olympia, and I was just like, get that fucking camera out of my face now. And if we filmed it, I was like, just leave it in because it's the real me. But it was just so difficult trying to manage being a gracious loser. That was really hard being so competitive.
Yeah.
But that year, so the year that I did Tampa and whatnot, the following year was when I came back a little bit better again. But then got like 5th in the UK, and I thought UK would be a weak show. I mean, 5th sounds great to a lot of people when you're trying to win everything. It's not that great.
Yeah, well, like to an athlete, anything that's not first, like
exactly.
Obviously, you can feel like happy that you've progressed, like whatever you might have, like done better, but it's not first.
Exactly. So that was really, really hard to take, to be fair. And that was the year that I learned to be pretty. Don't do that again, because I watched back at those videos. I watched back at how I was. And that was just not a nice thing to watch. Even from anyone in the crowd, the judges, I'm like, that was just me making myself look even worse. And we didn't and shouldn't have done that the way I did. I was just like, no, I should have done this. And I looked back, I thought, no, you probably should have placed there anyway. What's wrong with you? Now that I had a cool head afterwards, I'm like, you should have done that.
Yeah, emotions are high. Like I've done it, honestly. I'm older. I've done it loads of times. It shows where I've been coaching, and I thought, no, that's not right. Like and lucky enough, so you've actually never done it. Like when I've never been there. So but like we all have those moments in life where emotions do get the better of us. And, I think as long as you can sit and reflect and say, you know what, I shouldn't have done that. And next time I am going to behave in a different manner. As long as you do that, I think. It's not fine, because we would never justify it as fine, but it's maybe more accepted.
Yeah.
Exactly. For sure. So that was the lesson to learn for that year, and then last year, I can't believe it was last year, but literally April last year was the last men's physique show and my first one of the year. And you know what, as I was getting closer to the show and I'd throw up a few classic poses and I'd get a little bit on the bigger side, I was thinking, I know where my heart lies. But I'd already committed to the prep. I was already like 3 weeks out, and I thought, if I don't get what I need here, it's done. It's done. And I didn't get what I needed. I got 3rd, which is great again, but no offense to the guy that won. there's no way he was going to do well in the Olympia, and he was beating me by far. So I was like, I ain't gonna do shit this year
Was
or
it
next year.
Alessandro?
No, it wasn't. It was he was a Brazilian guy. Alessandro came second.
Oh, sure.
Maybe
Oh,
did-
yes, I know. Yeah.
And I actually think he got like third or fourth call-outs, which again, to an athlete, it's not that good. I hate to be ruthless, but like that's it. And
That's just how it is, yeah.
And I just realized like I don't think he looks that good, but he's way better than I was. So I was like, I'm not made for this category, right? I'm just not made for this category anymore. Despite the good placings and other shows, that's just the way the cards fell that day, and I just don't think that I was content knowing that I'm not good enough in men's physique. But I know that if you take some men's physique guys, you tell them to throw a front double, you tell them to throw a rear double, they sink away and they're not as good. So actually, there really is like a different side to classic, and I think I kind of had it. So that's where I am right now. About to find out if I've got it or not.
Yeah, super. Yeah, super. Have you? Is there a part of the process that you've enjoyed more than like other parts of the process? Like, is the growing side where you really like come to your own, or is the prep where you really come to your own? What do you enjoy the most of the process?
Prep for sure. Prep for sure. I love the. I love to be to running the red line. I love to run that red line and be like feeling like I can't do it. I literally love that feeling of thinking I can't do it, and then just having to do it,
Yeah.
and then you just do it anyway. You think, how did I do that? Those last few sessions of cardio, that are hours, and you're already peeled out your brain. But you got to keep going. You think, I can't do this hour, and you do half an hour, and you stop, you collect yourself, and then you just miraculously do the next half an hour, you know, and then you miraculously go home and then come back and train. That I just love that feeling. Maybe not at the time, but the
accomplishment.
Yeah, the
of
accomplishment
that.
you build, it builds you. That's what makes me. That's what makes me stronger. And I feel, I've been saying it to Loki, and I've been saying it to my brother. I need to suffer a little bit right now. You know, I've been in this off season for about a year now. Just under a year now. I've still got 5 more months. I'm like, I need to suffer a bit more now. You know, eating a lot of food and not walking as much, and not like training's hard, but like I love training, so it's not really suffering.
Yeah, it's in a different way. Isn't
I'm like,
it?
I need to do something I don't like for a little bit. That's how I feel.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What have you chosen to do then? Are you doing any suffering?
Oh, not right now. Not right now. Not right now. The suffering is just forcing food in. That's all I can do. That's all I can do.
For sure. Do you think the character that it builds helps you in other aspects of life?
Yeah, I think bodybuilding taught me that nothing comes easy. You know, especially great things doesn't come easy. So to apply that to the rest of your life, I think, is a no-brainer. And enduring hard times, like, they end. You know, 99 times out of 100, hopefully, like, they end. So when I've had periods of time, especially last year was quite a rough year mentally, like, I knew it would end, and I because I've been through really hard things before, and I know prep's a bit like dramatic for a lot of people maybe listening who don't have a prep. Like, prep's pretty fucking hard. Like, there are times where you question what you're doing, why you're doing it, all those types of things. But when you get through it, you just know there's an end. So those are like two real things that I've learned from bodybuilding.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything during those hard times that you will mentally go through? Do you have like a playbook when tough things get really tough that you go through? Is there anything, any sayings or anything that you will say to yourself apart from one more rep?
Yeah. I just have that thing. I have that thing in me that makes me want to achieve. Like, I've got the goals that I want to achieve, and the one ticket that we have that scares the hell out of me to know that at one point this is all over. And for you to not have taken that rep, like, that's like terrifying for me. So the only thing that I've ever found, not that I'm super old, there may be other things, it's been bodybuilding and achieving, you know, and just getting to the fucking Olympia, man, and doing myself proud and doing as good as I know that I can do. Like, that's the thing. And if I let go of that, I don't know, that'd be very hard for me to live with personally.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great answer. So let's relax a little bit now. We're quite intense for the last 10 minutes. Let's have a look at your business in terms of your own personal brand.
Yes.
You know, you have a very strong personal brand away from, I know 1RM is the personal brand, but away from that, you know, you are somebody who documents, like Char was saying, you document a lot of things that you do. It's become quite common now.
Yes.
And, you know, I'm not saying everyone wants to be a social media influencer, but a lot of young people do. Do you define yourself as a social media influencer?
It's part of me.
Yeah.
Part of me, yeah, for sure. I think the amount of DMs, the amount of influence that comes through those DMs. Do you do this? I might do that too. Like, it's just a no-brainer. I influence people, whether I like it or not. And that's what people need to remember. Like, whether you like it or not, you're doing it.
Yeah.
So just be mindful. That's all.
Yeah, for sure. So there is again a lot of young people who listen to this podcast who, you do inspire, you do influence. If I'm 18-year-old Josh trying to get into that space, is there anything that you would recommend to these young guys and girls who are out there?
Yeah, without the risk of saying the things that probably people have heard before, being the authentic version of you, because not being it is exhausting. And when you start chasing, and you know what, it's really easy to do because views feel good, likes feel good, lots of comments feel good, and you put up a picture or a video that isn't maybe you, or you lean into a version of you that you don't want to do too often, and it goes like that on fire, and it feels good. And then you do it twice a week, and then you do it 3 times a week, and then eventually that's your whole persona. I got a very good friend, actually, who made a lot of videos, and a lot of them went viral, but he would just, like, switch the camera on and become a completely different person. And he, like, after years and years and years of it, he's just exhausted from it and just stopped. And now he's gone. Like, doesn't do it anymore because he just exhausted himself from just putting this fake persona on. So luckily, that's what I did the whole time. I laid it all out, and I think that's the one thing that served me well. I think people's bullshit radar is pretty high right now. Maybe not back in the day. It was pretty easy to like lean one over on people, but now people know who's real, and you can kind of tell. Like, I don't know if you guys know Sam Selleck. Like, he's absolutely going crazy viral in the moment, but you can just see the authenticity of him just leaking through. So I'd really recommend being authentic, but then something a little bit more tangible. Unfortunately, your content's got to be at a level now. Picking up a camera, the lighting being a bit blurry, being in a poorly lit room, like, you can't do that anymore because people just swipe off. Yeah, so you got to, just like something as simple as this, like, there's a light on our face right now, so the camera's going to be super crisp. You can get a 1080p 4K on your phone. So if you've got a little ring light that's going to crisp up everything, something as simple as like a little mic, like, those things are going to elevate you. That are relatively inexpensive. You don't need to have a cameraman or a full-time videographer or anything like that. So it's got to be some quality to the content. It's got to be relevant, so up to date. There's no point talking about studies from 50 years ago. Talk about something that's a bit more relevant. Try and stay on point and concise. Try and keep people's attention. We've got to live in a world of TikTok where it's like 10-second swipe, 10-second swipe. So if you can try and get your point of opinion across in 30 seconds, do it, like, rather than 30 minutes. There are going to be the people that do the 30-minute content, do a podcast, Instagram, keep it shorter, TikTok, keep it shorter, YouTube. Even in YouTube, like, you could do a 1 to 2 minute clip, but then change scene, change where you are, change your topic. And
is this all self-taught, Josh? Is this all self-taught?
Yeah, I self-taught and just learning from what other people have done and kind of what works as well.
I think that's brilliant. I think being self-taught teaches you, again, many mistakes. And we get better from hopefully making mistakes and then not making them again.
Yeah.
But I think what you're saying there is fantastic in terms of being a young person, being able to look at that. And again, someone who is very, like, influential from yourself, especially, I don't know your statistics in terms of where you are, but normally I'm in the UK, people know who you are. Most people in the fitness industry know who you are. And to say, right, well, listen, like, just be yourself, like, do these minor things, and you can start to progress each sort of week, each month.
Exactly.
I think that's massive. Yeah, I think that's massive for young people, yeah, for sure. Was there a part in your journey where you realised, I'm actually doing quite well, or I'm actually influencing more people than what I ever thought before?
Yeah, I guess I've had those moments. I try not to get lost in the moments. I think actually probably just before that pro card, like when I just lost out on that Portugal show, I remember being in the flat in Alicante and just having an ungodly amount of messages. And I couldn't fathom how many people had wished me good luck, said unlucky, and I was just like, wow, this is quite on a big level now, or relatively big level. And then probably more so the last, like, 2 years or so, like, I think that 90% of the gyms that I've been in, there's been something Wanamar, which is just like insane to me.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
blows my brain off. Like I see random, especially Dubai is like quite a holiday place for people in Britain or Ireland. Like I have people come up to me, every other session or so. They're like, "Oh, I've got your straps." I'm like, that's just insane to me.
That's really
to be
cool,
in
isn't
different
it?
countries. It's just
Yeah.
insane. So humbling to be able to experience moments like that, like not in your home country. It's just crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. And imagine a young business owner. Someone says, right, again, you will inspire people who want to bring out products, want to bring out T-shirts, want to bring out apparel. And any tips or any advice sort of what we could go down there?
Obviously, a niche is always going to be better than not a niche, but also, and this is something that I've lent more into as the innovation of those like products gets quite hard. Like there's only so many things you can do. People will support you if you make something as good as someone else, right? And that's fine. Like if you're selling a really nice hoodie, and so do Lululemon, yeah, but this person has watched you, learned about you, knows you, they're going to support you. Like why wouldn't you if it's the exact same product? Because there's a meaning behind that product. So don't be afraid to make something that other people do. Don't be put off because I'm just talking about clothing a bit because Alphalete have a huge business and Lululemon have a huge business and Gymshark have a huge business and you can't do as well as them. People will support you just for you.
Yeah, if they're bought into like your brand
Exactly.
as a person. Yeah.
Which is really, really important. So obviously, if you've got the brand there, if you've got the support there, you've got people in your DMs asking for it, then do it. The niche is obviously really, really good. Something that's a little bit of a spin, and that goes with content as well. Like if you can put a spin on the same thing, then that's absolutely great because people are gonna get something a little bit extra from it. And then just make sure you're I'll do some more tangible things that people can take. Like do your research on marketplaces to buy. Like Alibaba isn't the only place to buy from, though great. Make sure you put your manufacturers against each other for prices because quite often they'll do you over on the first time if they don't know what type of business you are. Make sure when you get samples that you say to them, I'll pay for the samples, but I want that off my manufacturing price because quite often they'll make money on the samples and then you'll get them on top. You could pay £300-400 for samples and your whole order could be £400. Yeah. So be careful on those types of things. Be in communication with the manufacturers as well. Like really tell them exactly what you want. You can even send them, this is what I do, I'll send them the product that I want them to make and then the examples of what I want them to change. So you can not waste time spending £25 each time they send something new to you, or send them the material that I want. So it's all kind of done. And then they can skip some of the mistakes that you can make.
Yeah.
No, that's super. And again, real tangible tips to take away, not only for like personal brand, but for if anyone does want to develop a product. But we're going to have a fun 5 or 10 minutes here. So we are all Harry Potter fans here, which is good. Char has been to Harry Potter World. Have you been to Harry Potter World?
No, I haven't. Where is it? Which one?
Watford.
In London.
Watford.
Oh, Watford. No, I haven't been.
Yeah, you have to go. I'm gonna get you tickets for coming on this.
Have you guys been to Global Village here?
No.
No,
They've got
on the plan.
they've got a little Harry Potter place there.
Oh, really?
Right.
That's our plan. Every Sunday we plan something to do together.
Okay,
and
nice.
that's our plan for Sunday is to go to Global Village.
Yeah, it's really nice. I do love it.
First stop, Harry Potter World.
Loki, have you been to Harry Potter World? Oh, there we go. Next.
Oh.
Well,
You know what we do?
You will be soon.
We do Harry Potter Sundays.
Yeah.
And we tried to get him involved. He was sat there for an hour. He's like, I'm not going.
Not a
this.
fan.
Oh no, man, it's fantastic.
You're not involved in the game then?
Yeah. Okay, so I've got some questions here from Harry Potter. Quick fire. We
You're
have.
putting me on the spot now.
Yeah, quick.
So we have 10 questions, numbered 1 to 10. You'll pick a number, and I'll read that question out, and then we'll see who wins. Charlotte, it's going to be you versus Josh.
Oh God.
Here we
You've
go.
been to Harry Potter World. That's not fair.
I've already got the upper hand.
Yeah. Right, who's going to go first?
So what, we both answer it? Or
No, so you're going
one
to pick a
person
number
answers?
between 1 and 10,
Okay.
and then I'm going to read that question out.
Okay,
and see
5.
I guess you're going first then, Char.
Ladies first.
Who is this is an easy one to start with. Who is the headmaster of Hogwarts when Harry arrives?
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore?
Correct.
I feel like that was too easy. So am I
I
wrong?
like question myself.
Is that wrong?
Josh?
7.
7. Who does Harry live with before going to Hogwarts?
Dudleys.
Yeah, so Dudley's is correct. It says here the answer: his aunt and uncle.
That is the
The
Dudleys.
Dudleys, yes. Correct, yeah. I know it is, yeah. Shah, so you can't say... it was-
3.
Okay, it's number 3. What is the name of the pub at the entrance of Diagon Alley?
What the heck? Do you know that?
I do know, and I'm going to kill myself when I don't
I
answer
don't know that.
No. Potheads failed.
Sorry, guys.
The Leaky Cauldron.
Oh.
Well,
Well, I wouldn't have even been close.
So that's a cross for you, Shah, unfortunately. The score is 1-1.
Let's do 2.
Number 2.
We're both racing to the answer, right? Okay.
What does Harry play on the Gryffindor Quidditch team? So what position
Seeker.
does he play? Seeker, that is correct. 2-1 to Josh. Shah, number
4? Have I done that?
4.
Have we done that? No.
What kind of pet does Harry own and what is her name?
Owl Hedwig.
That is correct.
Is it her? Meant to be a her, is it?
Yes.
Really?
It
Hedwig
is
is
her
a
name, yes.
Do 9.
9. What do the students call the Gryffindor ghost?
Moaning Myrtle?
Incorrect.
Nearly headless Nick.
She's
Correct.
shit.
I believe that's 4-1. Josh, number
10.
10. What is Lord Voldemort's full real name?
What is it? I don't know if that's him.
I don't know.
Who's Tom Riddle?
Thomas Marlowe Riddle.
Correct.
I was like, is Tom Riddle
Absolutely
him?
getting smashed in, Shah.
Yeah,
Absolutely
sorry.
getting it. Okay, we only have number 1 or number 6 left.
1.
Or number 8, sorry.
1.
1. This one's an easy one. What are the 4 Hogwarts houses?
Hufflepuff, Gryffindor, Slytherin. That's 3.
Ravenclaw.
Ravenclaw.
Correct.
I'll let you have that one. I was like,
Yeah.
Give that one to me.
I'll do.
Is that 4 points, is it? For that one?
Yeah,
Unfortunately
Serena.
not. Josh, 6 or...
We'll do 6.
6 or 8, yeah. Okay, so Shah, you've got 8 left. Number 6. Who makes the laws for the magical world?
The Ministry of Magic.
Correct.
8.
8.
Final one.
It can't be the final one because you went first. Maybe I've missed one out here. Number 8. Name all 7 Weasley children. Bonus point if you can get them in the correct order.
What's the order?
It's
What
a
age?
bonus point if you get them in the correct order of
In terms
age.
of, like,
Yes,
age.
correct, yeah.
Ginny, Ron, Fred, George, Percy.
That's all I know. Don't know anyone else.
I don't know the other 2.
Bill
Bill
and Charlie.
and Charlie. I wouldn't have got this.
Bill and Charlie.
That's 1, 2, 3.
That's
4,
minus
5,
points
6, 7, 8.
for getting that one.
That is 10 questions. So that is our quick fire round. Josh, you are the winner.
Yeah.
Shah, unfortunately, you're the loser and you
yeah,
have to
I'll
leave.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
But no, Josh, thank you ever so much for your time. If anybody who is potentially not following you, where can they follow you? Where can they get inspiration from? Where's the best place to find you?
You can just type in Josh Bridgman. You'll find me on everything.
Awesome.
I appreciate it.
Josh, thank you ever so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.